Hello, today we're going to be presenting about our evidence of the restaurant of Yuna that we named Bringing Internal and External Customers through Endomarketing. That basically is a comprehensive strategic proposal for Regio Corano. But first we have to understand what's endomarketing and the different models that they exist. And basically, endomarketing aligns employee needs with external value propositions, treating employees as internal customers and processes as internal products. This framework connects internal service quality, employee satisfaction, and customer satisfaction, loyalty, and profitability through the service profit change. Also, this report analyzes the Regio Coreano, a Korean restaurant facing internal culture deterioration, high turnover, and inconsistent service using endomarketing models to propose a strategic design.
Now, let's talk about endomarketing models. This slide presents a timeline of our four foundational models, each by different researchers and years, showing how internal marketing concepts have evolved from simple employee care to an integrated cross-functional discipline. Our first model is the one from Leonard Berry, from 1981. The core idea of this model is that employees to see employees as internal customers, jobs as internal products. What does this mean? If we design roles like customer-centric products and provide autonomy and job satisfaction, we enable service excellence. The practical takeaway for this model is to start with clear job design and empower frontline workers to make decisions that improve the customer experience. For our second model, we have Christian Gruno's model from 1990. The core idea of this model is about internal marketing is a prerequisite for external service quality. We emphasize that the internal service promise an empowered frontline staff who can deliver on it. And the practical takeaway from this model is to align internal service standards with external promises, ensure frontline teams have the authority and resource to fulfill these promises. For our third model, we have Rafik and Ahmed from 2000. The core idea of this model stands a multi-dimensional strategy, bridging HR, marketing, and operations. We focus on communication, training, involvement, empowerment, and rewards. The practical takeaway for this model is that endomarketing is not siloed. It requires coordinated processes across departments with clear feedback loops and incentives that reinforce desired behaviors. Finally, for our last model, we have Ian Link's model from 2004. The core idea of this model is adapting market orientation to the internal environment. We emphasize on the employee segmentation, internal marketing research, and responsiveness for satisfaction. The practical takeaway for this model is to treat internal groups as internal markets, gather insights about their needs, tailor initiatives, and close the loop responsive actions. But why does this matter? Each model builds on the last, from treating employees as customers to creating an integrated system where human resources, marketing, and operations create value. The through line is simple. Employee experience is a leading indicator of customer experience. When we design jobs, well-empowered people, and align internal programs with external goals, service quality goes up, and customer satisfaction follows. Now, talking about the advance in the marketing concepts, first of all, we have the service profit chain. The core idea of the service profit chain is that internal service quality drives employee satisfaction, which leads to customer satisfaction, loyalty, and ultimately profit growth. This matters because small changes in how we support and empower employees can create compounding gain in customer experience and business results. The practical takeaway for the service profit change is to improve everyday support for frontline teams, clear processes, quick decision rights, and accessible resources to deliver great service. Then we have the ownership quotient. The core idea of the ownership quotient is that when employees feel ownership, they are more engaged and connected to outcomes. Autonomy and shared responsibility drive superior results. This matters because ownership isn't just about incentives, it's about meaningful autonomy and accountability across roles. The practical takeaway for the ownership quotients is to create clear ownership maps for key customer journeys, empower teams to act on behalf of the customer without waiting for approvals. In third place, we have the holistic marketing. The core idea of holistic marketing is into marketing must integrate internal external relationship and social marketing employees must be aligned with brand promises. This matters because a coherent brand experience requires that every touchpoint inside the company and with customers speaks with one voice. The practical takeaway of holistic marketing is to align internal communications, branding, and customer facing practices, ensure every department and understand and contribute to the brand promise. And in last place, we have employee life cycle. The core idea of employee life cycle is that international processes, from recruitment to recognition, shape internal service quality and culture. This matters because the entire employee journey affects engagement, performance, and satisfaction. The practical takeaway for employee life cycle is to map internal employee journey, identify high impact touch points, and design interventions that reinforce desired behavior. These advanced concepts show that endomarketing isn't a one off program, it's a cohesive system. When we optimize the internal service experience, foster ownership, integrate brand and human resources processes, and manage the employee life cycle, we strengthen internal culture and improve external outcomes.
In this slide, the diagnosis of Regio Corene's case is present. The restaurant grew very fast, but it did not adjust its internal culture to support that growth. This caused overloaded employees, high wear and tear, turnover, and increasingly inconsistent service. As a result, customers face long lines, waiting times, and a quality that no longer reflect to the brand. And this misalignment occurs on three fronts. First, the internal service collapse due to burnout and poor communication. Second, to customer experience. Here, the root cause of this misalignment are explained. The first is the lack of internal marketing. There is no clear system of training, communication, or recognition. The second is a poorly defined internal promise of service, which makes employees not having clarity about the standards and expect Korean hospitality. And the third is operational overload. The facilities do not support the current volume, and that generates physical and emotional exhaustion. And the fourth is a fragmented culture without values or rituals that connect the teams between branch. This causes explain why the service deteriorate and show the importance of strengthening internal conditions to improve both to employee and customer experience.
Now, talking about the internal and external misalignment to the restaurant, we can see in the diagram that this illustrates the disconnect, like sides between the restaurant and the capacity of the external expectation of the customers. This misalignment shows obviously the bad customer experiences and also the bad service quality that they have. We can clearly see that the problem is internal, not an external problem. So we want to show us the propose and the alignment to increase the external customer experience. Okay, so now as a team, we think about the strategy for redesign the restaurant, and we divide the strategy in five pieces. The first one is internal service quality. This established like an structured onboarding and training academy that standardize the process and the adequate staffing for them to give a great service quality. The second one is the employee value proposition. We articulate a functional, emotional, and empathic benefits like career pathways, belonging, and association with authentic brands so they can be aligned for goals and feel more motivated. Then, the internal communication is to implement a formalized system with digital business and meetings. This shows us that the main problem is that they are not connected to the values of the restaurant. So they need to implement like an staffing and management for them to be aligned to the customer that they want to give. And the last one is service culture and leadership. The leadership training is associated to the motivation and the service that they gave. So this has to be aligned with the hospitality and the values that the restaurant already have.
Now, let's explore how the strategic implementation of internal marketing will positively impact Regio Coreano through the service profit change model. The first step in our strategy focuses on improving internal service quality. This is achieved by implementing structured onboarding, a tailored training academy, and standardized processes across locations. These initiatives will create a strong foundation where employees feel equipped, supported, and empowered to deliver the highest standards of service expected. By introducing clear expectations and providing tools such as ergonomic equipment and sufficient staffing, we ensure that employees can perform their jobs effectively and with satisfaction. This will directly improve their overall engagement with the restaurant, making them more motivated to deliver high quality service. Next, as employee satisfaction increases, we will see a direct improvement in productivity and retention. The training and empowerment provided through the employee value proposition will contribute to job satisfaction by creating a sense of belonging and professional growth. Regio Coreano's employees will now have a clear career path, cultural engagement through Korean values, and recognition programs based on the brand's identity. As a result, employees will stay longer, perform better, and remain engaged, reducing turnover and enhancing service consistency across shifts. This will lead to enhanced service value. By improving internal service quality and employee satisfaction, Regio Coreano will provide a consistent, authentic, and timely service experience. Customers will benefit from shorter wait times, more reliable service, and a stronger connection to the cultural essence of the brand. Service consistency is critical for customer retention and satisfaction. And with employees more engaged and empowered, service delivery will align more closely with customer expectations. The final link in the change is customer loyalty and profit. As service quality improves, customer loyalty grows. Satisfied customers are not only more likely to return but will also refer others, thus expanding the customer base. This increased customer loyalty drives profitability through repeat visits and positive word of mouth, which will enhance Regio Coreano's brand equity. The implementation of the strategy will also improve the restaurant capacity to scale and expand into new locations while maintaining the integrity of its cultural authenticity and service excellence. In summary, the impact of the strategic implementation based on the service profit change will be transformative for Regio Coreano by focusing on improving internal service quality, fostering employee satisfaction, and delivering consistent service. The restaurant, therefore, will see increased employee engagement, better customer service, and higher customer loyalty. The cycle of improvement will ultimately lead to greater profitability and a strong foundation for future growth and expansion. Finally, wrapping up our presentation, the key to Regios Coreano's success lies in the strategic implementation of a systemic and marketing approach. This approach integrates employee needs, organizational objectives, and customer expectations, creating a unified customer oriented culture that can address current challenges and set the stage for sustainable growth. By implementing strategies focused on improving internal service quality, enhancing the employee value proposition, fostering better communication, and cultivating a strong service culture, Regio Coreano is laying the foundation for long term success. These initiatives are not just about operational changes, they are about building a deeper, more engaged connection with the team. When employees feel valued and empowered, they perform better, which directly impacts the customer experience. Drawing inspiration from companies like Din Tai Fung and Starbucks, known for their exceptional service consistency and strong internal cultures, Regio Coreano can adapt best practices that focus on training, employee engagement, and maintaining cultural authenticity. These companies have shown how aligning internal practices with external customer expectations creates a cycle of sustained growth, high quality service, and profitability. Furthermore, we propose a hypothetical partnership with Kia Motors Mexico, which could offer strategic credibility and enhance cross cultural learning. This partnership could provide Regio Coreano with valuable resources for expanding its brand while reinforcing the internal culture. This kind of collaboration could further solidify Regio Coreano's standing as a cohesive, culturally grounded brand capable of delivering consistent and memorable dining experiences. In conclusion, by focusing on critical areas of internal service quality, employee satisfaction, and consistent service delivery, Regio Coreano will not only address its current challenges but will also position itself for future growth and competitive differentiation. This comprehensive, consumer oriented approach ensures that the restaurant will thrive both in the short and long term by aligning its internal environment with its external brand promise and building a loyal customer base that drives profitability and success. This slide was basically me summing up all that we've seen throughout this presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.